You guys gotta stand back up. Hey, are you guys family here?
Yeah.
And how come there's people way in the back and you guys are spread out? Is this a Baptist church? Oh, I'm sorry. You know, there's seats up front, guys.
That's the splash zone. It's too loud.
I showered this morning. Coming on the clouds, kings and kings will bow down. Every chain will break, his broken hearts declare his praise. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power. Fighting our battles, every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. And every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Open up the gates and way before the King of Kings. God has come to save, is here to set the captives free. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power. Fighting our battles, every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power, fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. The Lion and the Lamb. The Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. The splendor of the King, clothed in majesty. Let all the earth rejoice, let all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide. He trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice. And how great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? All will see how great and how sudden in the middle there, I was able to see faces, and now I can't see anybody. All right, I guess I can't point you out for anything then. So usually I point people out if you start yawning, but tonight you're on your own. So, hey, there you are. All right, so my name is Brendan Brooks. You guys can all sit down. And a lot of you guys had no idea I was coming. I don't know, Catherine's been announcing it for a couple of weeks. But thank you guys so much for being here. I'm from Wisconsin, born and raised, still live there.
Hey, go Pack, go!
Packers, that's right.
Yeah.
They're having a pretty good year. For now. Yeah, they'll find a way to mess it up. I'm sure. Anyway, where was I going with this? My CR journey started 3 years ago. And I've been able to open up for Toby Mac, Sidewalk Prophets, and Citizen Way, and Thousand Foot Crutch, and Blanca, and I've been able to work with a lot of people in the music industry. But 3 years ago, I opened up for Sidewalk Prophets, and anytime I get around bigger crowds like that, and there were several thousand people there, I announce, if you got a special church function, fundraiser, backyard barbecue with a bunch of friends come over, want me to come speak and play or whatever, come talk to me afterwards. And I had 2 CR groups approached me after that. Now before then, I had no idea what CR was. We live in a very rural area. The closest CR group to us is 100 miles away. And I was raised in the church, and I never imagined that my ministry would be taking me to doing a lot of recovery groups. Anytime the church doors were open when I was younger, I was there because we were the ones that had the key, primarily. And I wasn't a preacher's kid, but right underneath it, I guess. My dad was always a deacon or an elder, and my parents helped start 2 churches when I was younger, growing up. And so I was always immersed with God and the Bible, and never strayed away from that. Right after high school, I went to become a police officer, and then during that time, I was also a worship leader in the church, and a guy called me out of the clear blue one day and said, "You want to start a band?" And so I did the band thing for a while. But when I was asked to come and do a recovery group, my background is I was raised, you don't associate with people in recovery. And it was never brought up. We did, granted in our area, we didn't have a lot, there was no AA meetings or anything like that. And so as time got closer to this meeting, I'm like, these guys are gonna boo me off stage because I've never had alcohol or drugs in the system, and I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, I've got nothing in common with these people. Matter of fact, when I was 16, I went to a summer camp, and there was a lot of kids there, 400 to 500 kids. And one night they had a testimony night, and there was all these kids standing up talking about addictions already in their young life. And there was part of me that wanted that. I wanted that story. Because all I thought I had was, I was forced into it. I never thought my testimony was good for me. And so I show up at this first meeting, the leader of the group sat me down, and she's like, "Your entire album talks about recovery." And I'd never put 2 and 2 together. And so she kind of called my nerves. She's like, "These guys will love you. You're gonna do great." And so the first meeting was fine, and had a lot of fun. And I thought that they were just a kind group. And then I went to the second one. And after the second one, I realized I found my people. People that aren't afraid to admit that they're not perfect. There are churches, there are so many churches across this country that are full of Sunday morning Christians that won't admit that they do anything wrong. You even mention the word recovery, and they just, "Nope, not for me, I'm good." They compare themselves to the person next door, and if they're doing better than them, or if they got someone to look down upon, they got made. So after that second meeting, I realized, you know what, I have a heart for these people, and I belong here, because you guys always know the story about Adam and Eve, right? Yeah. A couple of you do. Maybe we gotta open up the Bible to Genesis 1:1. Yeah. But all Adam and Eve had to do to mess up their entire lives was eat a piece of fruit. They didn't kill anybody. They didn't cheat on their spouse. There was no one to cheat on with, but that fruit was probably
perfectly nourishing their bodies. It probably didn't even give them gas or diarrhea. I know, that's weird. But it actually probably even looked next to the same as the tree next to it, except God said no to that one. And once I realized that everyone's on the same playing field, it's changed my ministry. All they had to do was eat a piece of fruit. So how could I look down on somebody for what they've done? And so, yeah, this last 2 weeks I've played at 8 different CRs. I'm well over 75. I lost count. But for the last 2.5 years, primarily half of my ministry has been just Celebrate Recovery groups. I love the ministry, I love what it stands for, and I love the people in it. So you guys are awesome. There's a lot more life in CR groups than there is a lot of churches, unfortunately. There's a lot of dead churches out there. So, I'm currently working on an album for Celebrate Recovery. I'm not going to label it as such because it's going to turn all them people off. But anyone that's in CR that has seen the CR logo, you know, you're gonna know it's for you. So can you guys stand up once more? All right. And you guys, you don't necessarily have to sing along, but you have the words up here, so you have no really reason not to. All right.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hello, are you trudging through the snow? Carrying this baggage on your own. Your face downcast, you look so sad. Let me take this load. Must have cried a million tears and wasted all these countless years, trying to get the dead of night, trying to do it on my own. And to be the best of show, fall on my face now, this I know. I don't have to do it alone. No one can lay my burden, lay them at me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lay them at me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I tried, and I've been here all this while, waiting for you to finally smile. Give me your pain and all your shame. You don't need it anyway. But the crowd of million tears and wasted all these countless years, jumping in the dead of night, trying to do it on my own. Had to be the best of show, fall on my face now, this I know. I don't have to do it alone. No one can lay my burden, lay them at your feet. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lay them at your feet. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You took my cares away and gave me a new name. I am yours, you are mine, until the end of time. The end of time. Must have cried a million tears and wasted all these countless years, jumping in the dead of night, trying to do it on my own. Had to be the best of show, fall on my face now, this I know. I don't have to do it alone. No one gonna lay my burdens, gonna lay my burdens, gonna lay my burdens, lay them at your feet. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 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 Lay them at your feet. Alright, can you possibly go to the third slide of this next song? I forget your name already.
Wayne.
Wayne?
Yeah.
Thank you, Wayne. You're doing an awesome job. Let's give it up for Wayne. Is he doing an awesome job? Alright. So one more song and then you guys can sit down, I promise. But this song has an amazing story behind it and it changed my life. I started playing this grooving tune many years ago, and I've got 4 little ones, and they were jumping up and down. I'm like, well, they like it, so. But I never really was going to record it, and I recorded my Broken album down in Nashville, and I brought a whole bunch of songs to the studio, and we started going through music, and my producer's like, this one's got to go on the album. So we put it on the album, and after I started doing CRs, I showed up at this group. I'd never been there before, and this young gal named Emily, she was waiting at the door for me. I pull up, I've got Wisconsin license plates, so she came running out of the building. You're Brendan Brooks, you're Brendan Brooks, you're Brendan Brooks. By the time I got out of my car, she was pretty much intersecting me, and she gave me this huge hug. I had no idea who she was. I'm used to people knowing my name going places because of advertisements and whatnot, but I'd never got a response like this. But as she let go, she whispered in my ear, "You saved my life." Now I gotta hear the rest of the story. She said she was on the verge of suicide. She wanted to end it all. She was riding one day in the car with her mother, and her mom turned on the radio, and they played this song by Brendan Brooks. Something triggered something inside of her. The Holy Spirit was obviously at war, you know. And she actually called the radio station to find out who sang it. She'd never heard of me, but that song got her to go back to church. That church had a CR group. A few months later, here I am standing in front of her. Now, if that's not amazing enough, I had not released that song to radio yet. I don't know how that radio station got that song. Obviously, someone there had an early demo CD of mine, and God only knows that story. It's definitely a God moment.
Amen.
But when I heard that, I had no idea who she was. Never met her before, but what I had done impacted her entire life. A song that I wasn't even going to record. As long as I'm still singing this song, I'm going to be sharing her story, and I hope she's doing good. I haven't seen her since then. I hope someday she reaches out to me, and I'm going to tell her I share her story all the time. It's changed my world. Keep that in mind, guys. Simple things that you do every day can impact someone that you might not ever meet. So the song really talks, it's kind of like the last one, it just talks about taking your burdens and lifting them up to God. He already knows what's going on in your guys' life, the good, the bad, the ugly, but He wants to hear it from you. If you guys are having a good day, tell Him about it. If you guys are having a bad day, tell Him about it. He wants to hear it. That's that daily relationship. So, third slide. All right, so it goes like this. And you guys have to sing along to get here, all right? That's right.
Lift 'em up to the one who made it, to the one who saved it, to the one who lifts you up.
Can you handle that? A few of you guys here were already taking it on. Have you guys heard this before? No. All right. All right. Like I said, you got the words, you have no reason not to. Let's try it.
Lift 'em up to the one who made it, to the one who saved it, to the one who lifts you up.
Can you handle that?
Yeah.
Amen.
Come on, you guys want me to come back or no? All right. Now, can you guys clap and sing at the same time? That's a hard one. Well, I'm going to make it easy for you. Just remember, the Bible does not say you have to sing in key. It just says make a joyful noise. So I don't care what your neighbors say, as long as you're smiling and something's coming out, that's scripture, right? So you guys just work on the clapping and let something come out. All right. You guys ready? All right, go back. Wayne, go back to the first slide, please. Thank you.
Oh.
Everybody has a problem to solve. The rope is fraying away, and you think you're gonna fall. Everybody has a favor to repay. Act of kindness is now all over your head. But the Bible says, I wanna hear you. Lift 'em up to the one who made it, to the one who saved it, to the one who lifts you up. So lift 'em up to the one who made it, to the one who
You guys can sit down now. Unless you don't want to, you can stay standing too. So like I said earlier, I'm working on an album just for CR. And this next song is kind of the title track. It's called Celebrate Recovery. Fitting title. But have you guys ever been told you're not good enough? A few of you? Yeah. I've been told that today. Someone's elbowing their spouse right here. There. So, I've been a worship leader in the church for a couple of years. Long time ago when I first started playing guitar. And that church got together with 5 or 6 other churches every year, and we created a big worship team and put on a big community worship night. And I've been involved for 2 years, and the 3rd year came around, and I knew they were planning it, but I asked the head guy, when practice was going to be. And he just looked at me and said, "You're not good enough." Now, I wanted to at the moment I was speechless. I'm like, I was good enough the last 2 years, but they had replaced me with somebody better. And the hardest part about that is that he was in my church and he was the head guy in our worship team, and I had to deal with him every week after that. There's so many people that have been told that in life and they give up. It doesn't matter what it is. They quit, they give up. I'm so thankful I didn't. And there's times now where I want to find where he is and call him up and be like, "Yeah, I opened up for Toby Mac. Am I good enough now?" Yeah. But that's that little devil on the shoulder that you just want to flick off because he wants revenge and get even. But it's so true. I don't care what human beings have said about you guys. What does God say you are? Who does God say you are? And that's kind of what the song is all about. It's called Celebrate Recovery. Some say I am nobody. Some say I am not worthy of your presence. For the mistakes I have made and all the chances that I did take. But your grace covers me, a great legacy. Through these scars that I have made shines the promises he gave. As I celebrate my recovery, reminding me of all the things I cannot see, like how your grace covers me in my recovery. In my mountains and valleys, I will trust in you wholly. Through joy and through pain, I will call upon your name. When I celebrate my recovery, reminding me of all the things I cannot see, like how your grace covers me in my recovery. You made me, you saved me, you called me your one and only. You made me, you saved me, you called me your one and only. And as I celebrate my recovery, reminding me of all the things I cannot see, like how your expect there to be 30 CDs, you know? All right. Have you guys ever thought about how short time really is? Yeah. My kids, you know, they can't wait to grow up sometimes. And, you know, I always heard my parents say, you know, the older you get, the faster time goes. I haven't really hit that yet, I don't think. Yes, it's flying by. I can't believe that, you know, another month it's going to be 2020. But, back in my band years, my oldest year, she was really little, and we were kind of like the weekend warriors. We were only playing Fridays and Saturdays primarily. All of us were worship leaders in our area, and so we tried to be back on Sunday. But it was so sweet because even if I was just gone for the night or gone for a day and a half, 2 days, she would cry. And, you know, she couldn't comprehend, you know, time of when I was getting back. All she knew was that Daddy was leaving. And it was so sweet because then when I'd come home, she'd cry again. It's like a typical woman. I had no idea what she was like. But I started writing the song way back when, and I didn't know how to continue on to finish it. But right now we have an elderly neighbor lady that lives next door. She's 98 years old, and she's kind of became a second grandmother to our, or third grandma, whatever, to our kids. And they love going over there, and she loves it when they come over. But she has a son that lives a block and a half away. We can see his house from our backyard, and every single day he comes over and has coffee with Mom. He's been retired for years. He's a grafter himself. He knows he's not always going to have her. And it's not a quick hi and bye, grab his cup and go. Sometimes he's there for hours sitting on our porch and they talk. And it's so sweet. So, we got any criers in the house? Just a forewarning. So this song is called Home.
My baby, she loves me. Says, Daddy, when are you coming home? You've been away for 3 weeks now, and I really wish I could see you somehow. And it won't be long now. And it won't be long. And it won't be long. I'm coming home, and I'm coming home. My mama says, son, don't you miss me? It's been 2 months since you came to call. Come sit and have coffee and talk. The weather's nice, let's go for a walk. And it won't be long. It won't be long. It won't be long now. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. The seasons come, the seasons go. Before you know, you will grow. Each story will end and blow like sand in the wind. My preacher said, live while you can. Find the lost, go help out a friend. Love your enemies before it's too late. And ask forgiveness. Know your fate. 'Cause it won't be long now. And it won't be long. And it won't be long now. And I'm going home. And I'm going home. And I'm going home. Can I have everyone here close their eyes for a minute?
I want you guys to imagine the best day ever. What that day might look like could have been something, a day that happened in your childhood. Could have been yesterday. Best day ever. Now I want you guys to imagine your favorite meal. You guys taste it? If it was chili, you guys had a good day. How about your best friend ever? Again, it could have been someone from your childhood. Could be someone sitting next to you tonight. Best friend you've ever had. Now I'm going to flip that coin. I want you guys to imagine the worst day. What that looks like. What it looked like. Could be something that hasn't even happened yet. This one's hard for people. How about the person who has hurt you the most? If it wasn't the person that once was your best friend. Now I want you guys, everyone here, to imagine that you have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. The doctor's going to come in the room. He's going to say, I got some good news and I got some bad news for you. The good news is you're as healthy as a horse. There's nothing wrong with you. If you're an older person, you're going to feel like you're 18 again. All your mobility, all your strength, stamina. The bad news is, in 30 days, your life is going to end. But you'll be totally healthy until that time. 30 days is all you have. But there's some other good news. The government just instilled a new program that anyone that gets this diagnosis gets $100,000 tax-free to do with whatever they want to do with it. So what do you guys do with the money? You can open your eyes. Go buy that new car you always wanted. Buy a one-way ticket to anywhere. I'd say the Bahamas, but they're pretty tore up after that hurricane. But did any of that $100,000 get used to help somebody else? I don't want to scare you guys, but I want to challenge you. I'm sure every person here knows of someone in the last year that only had 30 days and didn't know it. You guys have ever watched the news? It's every single day it happens. Car accidents, heart attacks. But if you guys knew you only had 30 days, how would that strengthen your relationships? How would it change your life and the lives around you? Would you live carefree? As if you had 100 years yet? Or would every single conversation matter now? Those little trips to the grocery store and saying hello to the cashier, would they mean something? Your family, your friends, your neighbors, the person across the fence you've never said hi to. I shared this a little over a year ago to see our group in Kansas. There was a lady there that night, and she came up to me afterwards and she wanted prayer. She was there for her daughter. Her daughter was heavily into drugs, and she wanted to pray. And there was about 10, 12 of us that stayed afterwards. We prayed for probably over an hour for her daughter. That same lady went home, opened up the front door, collapsed in a massive heart attack before she could shut it. I got a call that night from the leader of the group. I was at a hotel room. I couldn't believe it. If we knew she only had 3 hours left, I think our prayers would have been a little more different. But she wasn't there for herself. I don't know if she had heart problems before then or not. I got another phone call a week later after the next meeting. That guy said, "You have made our group so much stronger." It's like we want to live as if we only have 30 days. I think if every Christian in this country lived as if they only had 30 days, it would change this nation. There'd be a lot more gospel being shared. A lot more people would be attending CR. I have one guy to thank for me being up here tonight. And I said guy, so it's not Catherine. His name's Tim. I never met Tim. He died many years before I was born. But my dad was raised on a rural dairy farm in Wisconsin. And there were 8 kids. Money was always tight. Church was not an option. It never was. But there was a neighbor named Tim who saw 8 kids next door that were not in Sunday school every Sunday. Went and asked my grandparents for permission just to take the kids Sunday morning to church. And I don't know if it was the first time or third time, 10th time of asking that they allowed them to go. My dad said it was great because I got out some chores. And as he puts it, it was a 4-door car and they all piled in. Laws were a little bit different back then. And I don't know how long it took. My grandparents started going then. Became leaders in the church. And from the time I was born till my grandparents died, Bible was always open at family gatherings. Prayer was always said before meals. And from my grandparents to my second cousin, there's 140 some of us in that side of the family. Very big family. But I would say 75% of those people are in church on a regular basis. Thanks to Tim. Tim didn't have to preach to them. All he had to do was take them to church. Out of that group, there's 2 that are pastors. I've got a second cousin that is going to be a full-time missionary in some other country. I travel the country doing music. I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for Tim. Something so simple as just taking some kids to church changed an entire generation. Not only my family's lives, but all the lives that we've been able to reach and touch. I don't care what you guys do for a job. A lot of people think they're so insignificant by their job. If you guys are a burger flipper at McDonald's, you be the best burger flipper you can be. Because your mission field might be right next to you making French fries. That might be the person God has for you to reach. You don't have to be the next Billy Graham. You don't have to do what I do. I was an extremely shy and timid kid. Last thing I wanted to do was stand up in front of people and speak, let alone play guitar and sing. Now I do it willingly. Thousands of people every year. Use what God's given you. You reach that one person, God's like, all right, I'm going to give you a couple more. Keep going, a few more after that. A lot of people think I'm a pastor. I went to school to be a cop. But I use the gifts God's given me. The Bible just says go. It doesn't say you have to get a doctorate and be a pastor. You guys ever looked at the church? A lot of people think the pastor's at the top and the janitor's at the bottom. And this is going to get kind of weird, but have you guys ever been in the bathroom and there's no toilet paper? Did that janitor serve you that day? Sometimes it might have been out of their control. Things happen. God puts everyone on the same playing field, which is why a lot of you guys are here. And you guys are a family. Family of God. I don't care what you guys are going through, what you've done, what you're going to do. You're going to mess up. Recover from your mistakes. I went to a private high school, and anytime you got caught doing anything, you had to publicly stand up and say what you did. Didn't matter how embarrassing it was. And then, now I'm saying everybody, like it was a small school. From 8th to 12th grade, when I graduated, there was like 25 kids. So it wasn't a very big school. My graduating class was 6. We were the biggest in 10 years, so. You'd have to stand up, say what you did, publicly apologize, and then the head teacher would say, now what does sorry mean? And we would have to recite back to her, sorry means we will try to never do it again. At the time we did it because we had to. But guys, how many times have you come before God apologizing for something? And what does it seem like you did the very next day? Same thing. Jesus said, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And I say, let your sorry be sorry. Learn from your mistakes. Before I close this out, it gave me a limited amount of time. I don't even know what time it is. But I wrote this song a few months ago. Easter weekend, I was invited to Branson, Missouri. If you guys haven't heard, there was an 18-foot or 18-story cross that was built there. It's the largest in North America. The thing is massive on its own, but then it's on a hillside, which makes it even more impressive. But they were doing not really christening services, but revival services Easter weekend, and somehow my name got thrown in the mix. And I got to come down and be the worship leader that weekend for these services. It was a huge honor because I got to meet some amazing preachers, amazing pastors, and ministry leaders all over the place. And I'm sitting there on the stage during the setup day and just looking at this cross and what do I have that I can offer God? I'm a messed up human being. And this song started going through my head. All I can give him is everything I have, my entire being, all my time, my heart. Got nothing else. So in closing tonight, just challenge you guys, live every day as if you only have 30 days yet to live. See how it strengthens your relationships, changes lives. Or ask yourself this, is what I do going to matter in 100 years? What I do today? I'm going to be sharing Tim's story as long as I'm singing. And he'll never know it. He's reaping the rewards in heaven, though, I'm sure. But I want to be the man that in 100 years, my future generations are talking about me as a leader. So this last song, guys, is called All of Me.
Fell flat on my face and hung my head in disgrace. Know the things that I've done, the man I've become. Your word says I am loved. Jesus' blood was more than enough to wipe my slate clean. I'm finally set free. Now what can I say? And what can I do? And what can I bring to offer you? But all I I give to you, and I take what I have left, pick myself up by my bootstraps, right my wrongs, sing a different song, forgive and forget. Now what can I say? What can I do? What can I bring? Offer you all I have. Give it to you. All my disappointments and all of my griefs. Now what can I say? And what can I do? And what can I bring to offer you? And all I have, I give to you.
Thanks, guys. All right, before Catherine comes up, a lot of you guys are already checking out my tables back there. That is literally how we live and survive, by selling stuff. I rarely ever charge groups to play. Actually, I've never charged a CR group. Churches when they ask me to play all across the country, but I always come voluntarily, and this is our only source of income. So tonight I am going to be giving away a tablet, but here's the catch. I got to sell at least 15 CDs, shirts, or hats. It could be a combination. We've already got 4, so I need 11 more CDs, hats, or shirts. And then I will be giving this away to someone here tonight. Okay? So thank you guys.